Hey everyone, Stephen from Allan Admissions here with a question for you. How should you spend the time between submitting your early decision applications and when you actually find out? Should you be going full bore and finishing all of your essays? Or should you take a step back, relax, and wait until December 15th or so to get an answer? Well, let's look at some of the things you can think about. Let's start with some of the big picture things to keep in mind here. First, it may seem obvious, but this is a marathon, not a sprint. Especially if you're applying to double digit schools, it would be foolish to try and get all of them done in the week after your early decision deadline. You're likely doing midterms. If you're doing fall sports, you're coming up on your playoffs. You probably put a lot of emotional energy into your early decision and early action applications. So, in that regard, I would say it is completely comfortable to take at least 1 week off, if not two. We're trying to get things done by January 1st, 5th, somewhere in there. We're not trying to get them done by November 5th. So there's no reason to push yourself into the grinder right off the bat. Take your time, relax, breathe, recover your energy so that you can pick up a steady pace after about 2 weeks are done. Second thing to keep in mind, I know that for the last 4 years, it's been all about working hard, pulling all-nighters, getting stuff done as hard and as fast as you can, but we're going to work smarter, not harder here. If you wrote an essay for early decision for Stanford, for Harvard, for MIT, that works really well, odds are pretty good it's going to work for your regular decision school. Let's keep in mind that it's really good for us to recycle content, save us a little bit of time, and still submit a really high quality application. And the last principle we want to keep in mind is we want the minimum effective dose for the maximum work done. In other words, this is not meaning be lazy. Believe me, I would love for this idea. I would just sit at home after working for 2 hours, watch Netflix, Disney Plus, the whole shebang. But what we're really trying to convey here is what's the most amount of recycled content you can use and what's the least amount of new content you can use to maximize the amount of work that you can get done up front so that when you come to December 15th, you either haven't done that much with an early decision deadline and you've prioritized your time for other things before then, or you get deferred or denied, but you're still in a really strong position to move ahead. Now, this is all theoretical at this point. What does this actually look like in practice? Well, let's look at a sample schedule that I've put together here. So from November 15th to Thanksgiving Day, I would go through as many of the personal essays, the reflection essays, even the why school essays, and just see what content can you reuse and recycle. All that we're trying to do here is just the easiest work possible. You're probably traveling for Thanksgiving. Even if you're not, you're probably going to spend Thanksgiving Day with family, watching football, just sitting on the couch, being lazy. That's my plan right here. So you really just want to do the minimum amount of work here so that after Thanksgiving Day, you can hit the ground running. Now, caveat emptor for you California students, you're going to have your essays due on November 30th, at least as of 2024. Now, the good news is California does not accept the Common App essay. It's very common for the students I work with to repurpose the Common App essay for at least one of the 4 PIQ questions. That should narrow you down to 3 more questions in the ballpark of about 1,000 words. You probably have content that you can already repurpose for questions about an academic subject that inspires you or the biggest challenge you've overcome. So it shouldn't be too much more work if you've applied to other schools outside the UC system, but do be cognizant that this particular deadline is a little bit more compressed if you're applying to UC system schools. So now we finished Thanksgiving, we've had our fun with Black Friday, we've used our parents' credit card for Cyber Monday. What are you doing in the next 2 weeks, roughly speaking, before early December or so? So my recommendation here, again, knock out the easy stuff. If you know, for example, that you can reuse 250 words of one essay for a prompt that requires 300 words, it's not going to be that much more work to fill out the additional 50 words. Similarly, on the flip side, maybe in your early action round, you wrote an essay that came out to about 350, 400 words, and you know you can repurpose that, but the prompt now only allows 200 to 250 words. Again, it's a lot easier to cut down content that's already been finalized and existing than to just create something brand new. So in those 2 weeks after Thanksgiving, whether Thanksgiving falls earlier in the year or later in the year, I would just try and hit the easy ones. What can you compress? What can you expand? Save the brand new stuff for later. Later, of course, meaning after those 2 weeks up until you find out about early decision. At this point, I still wouldn't start drafting, but I would start compiling notes, start compiling information that you can use for Y school. Let's say you're applying to 6 schools in regular decision, 4 of which you know will ask some variation of Y school. I'd be spending 20, 30 minutes a day jotting down notes, different professors, different classes, research centers, extracurricular clubs, etc., and just kind of making a note and saying, for this question, I want to use this resource. We'll save the actual production of the essay for if you don't get into your early decision school. But on the flip side, if you do get into your early decision school, you don't want to be in a spot where you did so much work when you could have been doing it on other things, whether that's schoolwork or just simply enjoyable activities. We're trying to thread that needle of putting yourself up where you're not cramming in the 2 weeks after December 15th before deadlines. Certainly you don't want to be working on Christmas Day or New Year's Eve, but also ensuring that you don't do so much work up front that it just becomes a feeling of a wasted effort. Now that's just one sample schedule. Obviously, if you are a go-getter of a student, get this stuff done. If you feel motivated, if you think you only have a couple of schools left and you just want to knock it out and mentally have it off, go for it. If you're the type of person where you know what, I just need a break, I just want to get to Thanksgiving, go for it. The biggest thing with this video is to just give you an idea of what I recommend to my students, trying to thread that needle between working too hard, too much, versus doing too little and being forced to scramble if you don't get into your ideal early decision or early action school. That's it for the video, everybody. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns in the comments. Check out the links below for more information, and we'll see you later. Bye.